Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the St. Mark's Kids Chat. Today's a special day. What is today?
Father's Day.
Father's Day, exactly. So today is a day that we celebrate our earthly fathers and the wonderful things that they do for us, right? So what are some great things about dads?
They love us and cook for us.
Oh yes, your dad especially cooks. What do you
for us?
provide for us? Yeah, and they love us, right? Exactly. So, but there are some people out there that they don't have an earthly father here on earth anymore. Maybe their earthly father is in heaven, or maybe they don't see them on a regular basis. And it just reminds us that today is more, just not just celebrating our earthly father, but also our heavenly father as
Jesus.
well. Yes. So, and our story from Sunday school actually really focuses on that. We are going to be learning about the widow's olive oil, which is in 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 1 through 7. And it's a story where there was a family who was going through a really hard time because they didn't have the father in their family anymore. And it just showed how Jesus was able to use Elisha, who was a prophet, to help a family through a really hard time and provide for their family. So we're going to do a little illustration about this Sunday school story. So down here, so why don't you guys come on down here for just a minute. One day, like I had just mentioned, there was a wife of a man who was called a widow. And a widow means that your husband has passed away. And so the widow actually was left with a lot of debt. So what is debt? Do you guys know what debt means? Mm-hmm. So debt means that you owe somebody money, okay? And so when her husband passed away, the people who was owed money, they could actually come and take the children from the family as slaves to cancel the debt. Pretty crazy, huh? Sounds pretty crazy. But you know what? The woman, she wanted to keep her 2 children. So what happened is that the woman went to Elisha and she said to Elisha, she says, "What can I do? They're going to take my boys as slaves." And so Elisha says, "Okay, well, what do you have inside of your house?" And she said, "Well, I don't have a whole lot of money. The only thing I have in my house is a little jar of olive oil." And so Elisha said to her, "Okay, well, if that's all you have, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go around to all of your neighbors, and I want you to collect some jars. We're going to pretend that these cups are some jars." And he said, "Go around to all of your neighbors and ask. Don't just ask for like a few jars. I want you to ask for lots of jars, okay?" So she went around and they walked to all of their neighbors and they said, "Okay, I need all of these jars." And they weren't quite clear on why they were going to be asking for all of these jars. But this is a lot of jars, right? So they went around, grabbed all of these jars from all of the neighbors. And Elisha said, "Once you have all those jars, I want you to come back and close the door. And I want you to take your olive oil, okay? And I want you to pour your olive oil into all of these cups, okay?" So she only had a little bit. See how I only have a small amount here? Mm-hmm. So do you think that I would be able to pour all of this olive oil into all of these jars to fill all of them up?
No.
No, I mean, right? That was pretty crazy, right? So, but you know what? Elisha said, "I want you to trust Jesus and I want you to be able to do what I'm asking you to do," okay? So what she did is she filled up one jar, then she filled up another jar, and then she filled up another jar. And it was kind of like, the story of when Jesus fed the 5,000, remember? Took something very, very small and was able to provide. So I'm going to show you another quick demonstration of kind of the power behind all of this. So they were able to fill all of those cups, but let's talk about the power behind it, okay? So we're going to do a little experiment here to sort of demonstrate the way that she was able to get all of that olive oil into all of those jars. So what we're going to do is we have a little bit of water right here, and we're going to just to give a visual, put a little bit of food coloring in here, all right? Just so it's a little bit dark so that you can kind of see it. And we're going to take the small amount of olive oil that she had in her house, and we're going to fill up this little container with all of the olive oil, okay? All that she had, okay? So she didn't have a lot, but she trusted that God was going to provide for her in this way. Okay? So she took all of what she had, and then she trusted God. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to take this little effervescent tablet, and we're going to put it inside of here like this. Okay? We're actually going to take 2 of them and put them inside of here. And I want you to watch what's happening with the olive oil as we're going about this. So what are you guys noticing? It takes a couple of minutes.
Kind of getting a little bit bigger.
It is. It's kind of bubbling up a little bit, right? Exactly. So I'm going to put another one in here. So these little tablets just shows the power of how Jesus was able to help her trust in him to provide. Because what happened is she filled all of these cups and all of these jars with olive oil because the olive oil just kept coming and coming and coming from her bottle, right? She just kept pouring it in there, and it just kept flowing and flowing and flowing, right? It just kept coming. And so what happened is that she was able to fill all of these jars in here, and she was able to go and sell her olive oil to pay off the debt that she had. Isn't that amazing? Pretty amazing, right? So it just goes to show that we can be like Elisha too. Elisha was the one who encouraged her to trust God that he would provide for her, that there would be enough olive oil to fill all of these cups. It would just keep coming and coming and coming like that, just like this, in order to provide for her family. And guess what? Once she sold all the olive oil, she was able to pay off the debt that she had, and then she had extra money left over to help her family, so that way her sons wouldn't have to go in as slaves. So isn't that amazing? Pretty cool, huh? So I want you guys to be thinking this week about how you can be an encourager to somebody else who's in a really hard spot, and how you can encourage them to follow Jesus and trust in him, even when it seems like it might be impossible. Alrighty? Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.